Hi everybody, India today is the undisputed champion of world cricket.
12-year drought ended for the men in blue.
This is the moment we waited for. Everything you want is right here. There's not a man that I fear. There's nobody here that can stop me.
ये चैंपियन की टीम है.
I'm in a league of my own, kid. We know we're running it now.
Rohit Sharma's captaincy has seen the team achieve great heights in recent years. India, in fact, becomes the most dominant team in the Champions Trophy after winning the third title.
They clearly dominated the World Cup also.
India, the world champions.
For everything I ever dreamt for, it takes one day.
And the BCCI is the most dominating force in world cricket today.
And the revenue has made India's governing cricket body the most powerful in the world.
One managed to turn the sport into big business.
Is that 80% of world cricket's income is provided by India in one form or the other.
The organisation unofficially in charge of putting that puzzle together is the Board of Control for Cricket in India.
Humble truth here is the BCCI is the richest body today in the world of cricket across the globe.
But did you know that there was a time when the BCCI was so poor and so insignificant that Indian cricketers were treated like beggars? While English cricketers travelled in luxury vehicles, Indian players weren't even given proper flights. They were packed into cargo ships like a pack of luggage and they were forced to struggle at the sea just to represent their country. And if you think that was bad, here's the most humiliating part. When our cricketers went to England, they were given just £0.5 per week for food, travel and laundry as allowance. Not per day, per week. This wasn't an allowance, it was an insult. While English cricketers dined in 5-star hotels, our players struggled to afford a proper meal. While the British played their gentleman's game with pride, our cricketers played with empty stomachs and torn kits. This wasn't just a financial struggle, it was humiliation. It was a message that India didn't belong in world cricket. But then, something crazy happened.
The BCCI now controls 60 to 70% of the finances of the game the world over.
This is the story of how one country became the driving force behind the biggest sporting turnaround of the 21st century.
Today, the BCCI is so rich that while the English Cricket Board earned 492 crores in revenue, the Australian Cricket Board earned 658 crores in revenue, the Pakistani Cricket Board earned 458 crores in revenue, their combined revenue was 1608 crores, but the BCCI alone earned 20,686 crores in revenue. Today, the BCCI is so rich that it can eat both English and Australian Cricket Board for breakfast. The question is, how did we do it? How did we go from being treated as beggars to becoming the king of world cricket? How did BCCI become so rich in the past 40 years? What was their business strategy that turned them into the most dominating force in world cricket? And most importantly, what are the lessons that we need to learn from the rise of India in world cricket? Before we move on, I want to thank our education partners for today's episode, which is Odoo. People in today's world, having an online presence is the key to success. Whether you're selling fashion, electronics, or unique handmade products, Odoo helps you create an e-commerce store that's easy to manage and easy to grow. With Odoo, you can launch your store very quickly. The e-commerce builder configurator guides you step by step from setting up the site's goal to choosing the color palette, pages, features, and theme. No technical skills are required at all. Once your online store is ready to be customized, adding products is very easy. Just enter the key details like the name, price, and it's live. You can add more details within the product page like sizes, colors, styles, image carousel, description, drag and drop blocks, and more. Odoo also helps you boost sales by suggesting related products at checkout. For example, if a customer buys a shirt, you can show matching pants or accessories which will encourage them to complete their outfit. With Odoo's e-commerce, boosting your sales on your online store is very simple because you can cross-sell products through recommendations when the user adds a product to the cart or display it in the cart while they complete the purchase. And the best part is that Odoo offers the first app free for life with unlimited, I repeat, unlimited hosting and support. And you will also get a personalized domain name free for 1 complete year. So start building your e-commerce business today with Odoo. And check out the link in the description to download Odoo today. You know, there are 3 moments in cricket history that changed India's position forever.
In the air, Srishant takes it. India win. Dhoni finishes off in style. A magnificent strike into the crowd. India lift the World Cup.
Why? Mala gets it. And he gets plenty of it, does he? No! What a catch! Oh my God!
These moments will forever be etched into our memory as reminders of India's undying passion for the game of cricket. But what most people don't understand is that these moments wouldn't exist had it not been for the iconic event that happened on 25th of June 1983.
Lords, the afternoon of the 25th of June, 1983.
Not so good. Beautifully caught. He's hit that away.
Whenever they talk about a T20 World Cup, they show the catch.
To within 15 yards of the boundary. And the Indian skipper has done a tremendous job to get back there.
Whenever I meet him, sometime, even Richard, he says, why the hell I have hit that shot, He still remember that,
He hit the ball and I went for it.
This was the day when India won its first World Cup in 1983. And while most people saw Kapil Dev taking a brilliant catch that day, little did they know that Kapil Dev was literally changing the destiny of Indian cricket forever. Because until this point, Indians faced a discrimination very few people are aware of. To truly understand how bad things were, we need to go back to 1952. You know, this was the time when India had just broken free from the British Raj, and we sent our cricket team straight back to the colonizers in England to play a cricket match.
For the first time in the history of cricket, all India is meeting England in a test match at Lords.
Hemar Singh has scored his 50. India are all out with a total of 187. England win by 158 runs.
Today, most people would assume that the Indian cricket team would have travelled in style as free men to the land of the colonizers. But you know what? This team had gone there for 6 months. And for 6 months, they were given an allowance of £0.5 pound per week, or £1 for every 2 weeks. In 1952 England, for just £1, you couldn't even buy a decent meal at a restaurant or a proper pair of shoes. But with this £1, they had to buy food, travel, laundry and everything. This was because the Englishmen did not see us as opponents. They saw us as slaves to their colony. So they treated us as second-class citizens. The Indian cricket team struggled so bad for 6 months that they were skipping meals just to save some money, and they went hungry to play against England's best bowlers. In fact, there is a famous story where a fan approached our captain Vijay Hazare during that time saying, "Sir, I'm a big fan of yours and I want to invite you for lunch." And Hazare said, "Thank you for the invitation, but I would rather have some cash." And right after this England tour, Vijay Hazare led the team to West Indies in late 1952. And again, you might assume that they took a flight or at least a decent ship, right? Not at all. The BCCI had to send them on an empty cargo vessel which was returning to the Caribbean after unloading its bananas in England. Why? Because it was just cheaper. In fact, back then, cricket in India was not the sensation that it is today. We barely had any TVs and radios couldn't capture the essence of the legendary sport enough to drive traffic. And during the same time, the English and Australian cricketers had cutting-edge equipment, great food, expert coaches, and even a great pay. So if you think about it, it is not surprising that no one believed India could lift the 1983 World Cup. And when I say no one, I am not just talking about the media or the fans, I am also talking about the players themselves.
2-3 मैच 4 मैच खेलेंगे, हार जाएंगे और फिर आगे जाके we'll go to America. Wasn't expected from anyone that India will make the India's tickets to fly back, the team's tickets, were done for before the semi-final. Where Mr. Mansingh, after I think they won 2 games, is trying to call India and saying, "अरे भाई टिकट चेंज कराने का कितना होगा?" So आप टिकट क्यों चेंज कराना चाहते हो? नहीं, वही सोच रहा हूँ मैं कि 2 मैच तो कहते 2 ही तो जीते हैं, तो 2 तो कोई भी जीत जाता है. So that was the general kind of philosophy.
Yes, the Indian players were so sure that they would crash out of the tournament that the entire squad had booked their return tickets just before the semi-finals started.
In fact, I think it was Krishnamachari Shrikant's honeymoon. He had just got married. So they said, "We'll go to England. We'll only be there for a week, 10 days. 2-3 मैच 4 मैच खेलेंगे, हार जाएंगे और फिर आगे जाके we'll go to America."
But the most unimaginable and unexpected thing happened. India actually won the 1983 World Cup, and that too against West Indies in the finals. And instead of going to the honeymoon, the players came home as champions to meet Prime Minister Indira Gandhi.
India can do it. Skipper Kapil Dev and the Indian cricket team proved it by claiming the Prudential World Cup staged in England against odds of 50-1. In New Delhi, Prime Minister Indira Gandhi shares the joy of victory by hosting a reception.
This is how the first wave of cricket in India started, when every little kid started playing cricket in the gullies of India. Eventually, people started actively hearing about cricket on the radio, and Doordarshan started showing cricket on television. And finally, the BCCI declared a cash prize of 1 lakh rupees to each player of the team. So Kapil Dev and the legends must have made a lot of money, right? Well, not really. BCCI took nearly a month to give out these cash prizes because it was too expensive. And it's quite funny that the same BCCI today has 20,000 crore rupees in the bank. But back then, BCCI was just a struggling NGO. In fact, Lata Mangeshkar had to do a musical concert as a fundraiser so that BCCI could finally give out the prize money to the players. This is how broke the Indian cricket was even after winning the World Cup. But then the second wave started with a man named Jagmohan Dalmia, who dethroned England as the host of the Cricket World Cup and finally brought it to India. And this is what happened in 1987.
Board President, Patron-in-Chief, Lion of Indian Cricket, Mr. Jagmohan Dalmia. I don't know how to describe you.
This is the springboard. If we have to make India a voice to be heard, a power to be dealt with in world cricket, this is the great opportunity to start. So he started campaigning, he went through the ICC charter. And nothing in it said that the World Cup has to be held in England. It just kept happening. Now, he also understood that if you want to become a powerhouse in world cricket, you have to host a World Cup. You have to host a world event. Only then do people start taking you seriously.
Now again, everyone thought that the BCCI would make a lot of money because after all, they were hosting the World Cup of an international sport, isn't it? Well, as it turns out, they went door to door to every large company to offer them dirt cheap sponsorship slots and gave them every kind of placement they possibly could. But even then, nobody wanted to sponsor the World Cup. But you know what, guys? This is when one man came forward and said, I will sponsor the Cricket World Cup for India. And this man was none other than Dhirubhai Ambani, which is why the 1987 World Cup was known as Reliance World Cup.
90,000 spectators watch the underdogs from Australia, led by Alan Border, locked in a fierce battle with Mike Gatting's England. This was the finale to a month-long series of incredible one-day matches.
Now again, people thought, ki wah, ab to paise aa gaye. Now, BCCI must be rolling in money, right? After all, they were hosting the World Cup. Just 5 years later, in 1998-99, suddenly something crazy happened. Look at this. Suddenly, BCCI went from a loss of 81 lakhs in 1993 to a profit of 8.3 crores in 1998, and this profit started growing at a staggering rate of 59% every single year. And this boost was so spectacular that by 2001, BCCI started making 33 crores a year, and by 2007, they started to make 300 crores a year. So the question is, India didn't win any World Cup from 1983 to 2006, India didn't host any World Cup from 1987 to 2011, and India was not even the highest ranking team in the world. So how did BCCI become rich, and what exactly changed? Well, it all changed over a phone call.
The first ISD call made between post-apartheid South Africa and India was between Mr. Dalmia and Ali Bakar. So they said, but how much should we pay for the rights? Can we make it 40,000? So they said, done, sir. Before that, you'll be surprised when I tell you that BCCI used to pay Doordarshan paid money to show the matches.
You see, until 1992, Doordarshan held a virtual monopoly over television broadcast in India. And the reason why BCCI could not make money was because it was not Doordarshan which was paying BCCI, it was BCCI which was paying Doordarshan to show cricket. Can you imagine that? While today BCCI charges 20,000 crores to let Jio Hotstar stream IPL, back then in 1992, Doordarshan demanded 5 lakh rupees per match from BCCI just to play their matches on television. And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, the destiny of cricket changed in India. The moment Jagmohan Dalmia understood the worth of their rights, BCCI practically started printing cash.
BCCI sells the broadcast rights to a South African broadcaster. They were literally in the red at the time when Mr. Dalmia took over as treasurer. And then they realized after reading everything that, hang on, like, these rights are ours.
Jagmohan Dalmia, the mastermind who didn't just change Indian cricket, he rewrote the very fate of the global game. He wasn't just a leader at BCCI, he was the architect of a revolution, one that shattered old power structures and turned Indian cricket from an underdog into a billion-dollar empire. His vision didn't follow the rules, it created them.
They sold their media rights from 1994 to 1999 to TWI for 150 crores. Then Doordarshan paid BCCI 250 crores for 5 years. And by this time, the economic liberalization of India started catching pace from 1991 to 1999. And this is when India opened its doors to foreign and private investment. Now, after liberalization, giant brands like Coke, Sony, Pepsi, IBM, Hyundai, they all started flooding into India. And they all wanted to grab the purchase power of 600 million Indians. But the problem was that India was such a diverse country that we spoke 20 different languages, we had more than 26 different cultures and traditions, and a family in Kashmir ate, spoke, and behaved completely different from a family in Tamil Nadu. So as a brand, how do you make an ad? How do you make an ad that resonates with every single Indian? Well, it was very difficult because either they had to launch a different ad for different states or they had to find a magical formula that could suit the entire country. But you know what? These brands realized that there were two things that could bind every single Indian from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Hindus to Muslims. These two things were the Indian flag and the game of cricket. So brands realized that if they have to reach every single household in the country, they just need cricket. So suddenly, from shampoo companies to soft drink companies, everyone started sponsoring the game of cricket.
The more I play, the more I learn.
Who's the secret of our energy?
Show the world what you're made of.
Life में प्यास होनी चाहिए.
I'll take it from here. Thanks. Thanks.
In 1993, BCCI signed with ITC to sponsor the Indian cricket team for 45 crores till 1999. And then by 1999, the rates had skyrocketed. 22 lakh rupees per test match and 17.5 lakh rupees per ODI. Then from 1999 to 2002, they jumped even higher. 35 lakh rupees per test and 30 lakh rupees per ODI. During the same time, the Indian cricket saw the rise of legendary players who could give the Australians and Brits a run for their money.
Oh, he smashed that one. Yes, the youngest player to score a test 100 in Australia.
That last wicket at the Wankhede.
India 250 for 9.
Bowled in. It's all over for India. Flintoff takes his shirt off.
I did that in Lords.
Throw and a miss. They're going to get back for two. India at home. Lords goes wild. Zahir Khan punches the air. It's Ganguly with his shirt off, Flintoff style this time.
And along with the greatness of the players, the next wave of business started where cricketers themselves got paid millions of dollars just to endorse a brand. And did you know, in 1995, everybody was shocked to see that Sachin Tendulkar signed a deal worth 45 crores with a sports management company for 5 years. So now did the BCCI become powerful? Well, even with growing revenues, the International Cricket Council was still controlled by England and Australia. For example, in 2001, when India toured South Africa, the ICC tried to suspend Virendra Sehwag for a slow over rate offence. The BCCI protested, but it had no real power. Ultimately, Sehwag had to serve his ban. Similarly, during India's tour of South Africa, match referee Mike Dennis punished 6 Indian players including Tendulkar for excessive appealing and ball tampering. The decision was one-sided and India was furious. But despite all outrage, the ICC backed Dennis and BCCI couldn't overturn the decision at all. So BCCI was rich, but it was not powerful. But in 2008, BCCI did something that turned them into the godfather of world cricket. And this move was none other than the launch of Indian Premier League.
A total disruption in 2008 to change the course of cricket.
Chennai Super Kings ka whistle po.
He's got to set somebody in the stand for that one.
And that disruptor came in the form of the Indian Premier League.
There goes Dhoni.
आ गया मनोरंजन का बाप DLF Indian Premier League.
Look at these numbers, guys. When IPL was launched in 2008, by 2009, it was valued at around $2 billion. But as of 2023, IPL was worth $10.7 billion. That's a 5x jump in value. While the title sponsorship revenue of IPL was 200 crores in 2008, now it has crossed 2,500 crores in 2025. So now BCCI has so much power that in 2014, Star Sports signed a $1.98 billion deal with the ICC for global broadcasting rights. And there was a time when international cricket boards dictated their own schedules. But today, Australia, England and even the ICC adjust their calendars to avoid clashing with the IPL. In fact, even in 2017, Ben Stokes prioritized IPL over England's bilateral series. Similarly, Chris Gayle played for Kings XI Punjab instead of preparing for the 2019 World Cup with his national team. This is how BCCI went from broke to billions in the past 40 years to become the most dominating force in world cricket. And this brings us to the last part of the case study, and that is about what can BCCI with all its money and power do to help the game of cricket. Well, firstly, the BCCI needs to take the IPL beyond Indian shores and push it aggressively into newer markets. Just like how the English Premier League has built a massive fan base in Asia and Africa, and how the NBA has become a global sensation. Similarly, IPL has the potential to become cricket's biggest international product. Secondly, the BCCI must invest in growing cricket in non-traditional markets like the US and China. And this isn't charity, this is smart business strategy. The NBA did not become a billion-dollar league just by focusing on American audience. It actively pushed basketball in China, invested in grassroots programs, hosted exhibition matches, and signed deals with local broadcasters. Today, China is one of NBA's biggest markets and contributes billions of dollars in revenue. Similarly, the English Premier League dominates countries where football wasn't historically mainstream, and they did that by forging broadcasting deals, marketing clubs, and even developing football academies. And the result, millions of new fans and a skyrocketing valuation of the league. Now for BCCI, the opportunity is massive. The United States has already showed its cricket potential during the 2024 T20 World Cup, where packed stadiums proved that there is an audience in America. So a serious push through local investments in leagues, sponsorship deals and IPL matches in American cities could unlock $1 billion cricket economy in the US alone. And China, with its sheer population and appetite for sports, could be another goldmine. Imagine BCCI partnering with Chinese authorities, promoting cricket in Chinese universities, and even having Chinese players in the IPL. The same way, NBA nurtured Yao Ming to attract the Chinese audience strategically. Similarly, IPL teams could scout and train local players to create a fan base that sees itself represented in the game of cricket. So, expanding IPL and investing in new markets isn't just about spreading the game, it's about ensuring that cricket doesn't get left behind in the global sports economy. So, the faster the BCCI moves, the sooner cricket can become a true global sensation. And the IPL could just be the perfect product for it. This is how BCCI can go from domination to world domination in the next 10 years. And this brings us to the most important part of the episode, which are the 3 lessons that this iconic story of BCCI teaches us. Lesson number 1, wealth without influence is temporary. True power only comes from control. In this case, BCCI was rich in the late 1990s, but England and Australia still controlled world cricket. And it was only the launch of IPL that turned BCCI into a true powerhouse of the game. Lesson number 2, innovation is actually the currency of domination. In this case, the IPL wasn't just another tournament, it was a disruptive innovation that changed the economics of cricket. And the BCCI didn't just adapt to the future, it literally created the future. And last and most importantly, always remember, disrespect is the fuel for reinvention. From being humiliated with £1 allowance and cargo ship travel, Indian cricket turned its struggles into a mission. Instead of staying bitter, BCCI used the disrespect to fuel its rise and to ensure that no Indian cricketer would ever be treated as a second-class player ever again. This is the story of BCCI. And let me in the comments, what did you learn from this case study? That's all from my side for today, guys. If you learned something valuable, please make sure to hit the like button in order to make YouTube Baba happy. And for more such insightful business and political case studies, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.